Okay, good morning. So we have started the Rhodophyta, and in the first lecture we have seen about all about the characteristics of the Rhodophyta. Now there are some scientists are there. So here you remember the Gracilaria genera or the Gelidium, like the genera in the Rhodophyceae. Already we have seen the characteristics of these algae are there. Then the next part is the classification of Rhodophyceae, red algae. So Preach in 1935 or 1945 classified the class Rhodophyceae into the two subclasses, and the 7 orders are there. The outline of classification is as the Rhodophyceae subclass Benzoidae, order Bengiales, subclass Floridae, Nemea leonels. It is in three orders. Second order Jellydials, Cryptonemials, then Gigarcinials, Rhodymenials, and the Cereamials. As there is such study is there, the methods of growth of this thallus. Generally, the growth may be diffused or apical, and in order to Bengials, the Porphyra, and the Asterocystis, any cell of the thallus may divide in any direction, and this is called as a diffused growth. So this type, so apical growth is generally strictly avoided. Then the classification mainly, you remember this chart: Rhodophyta class Rhodophyceae, subclass Benzoidae and Floridae. Benzoidae is only one Benzoials order, and Floridae divided into these 5 orders are there, right? Then nextly we will see the one by one. So Benzoidae, it shows the good example Porphyra, it is parenchymatous. So thallus is a smooth, greatly convoluted blade-like attached to the substratum by disciform, or the cushion-like holdfast is there. Holdfast which is attached to this. Here you are observing the photograph. It is showing of 5 centimeter in the nature. Already we are also collecting in at our part of Goa or Ratnagiri, Ganpatipule. It is generally occurring. Then thallus, as it shows the asexual reproduction by monospores, sexual reproduction by directly division of the vegetative cells. The cells contain 1 or 2 chromatophores, and it have a large centrally located pyrenoid. They are growing highly as in the intertidal zone. Intertidal, that is the high tide and the low tide. So generally they grow there. Then second subclass Floridae. You see how the members are there. So they forms always multicellular, the plant body filamentous, and secondly aggregate to form a pseudoparenchymatous or flat thallus. They are generally having the pit connections in between adjacent cells. Auxiliary bud formation takes place. The sexual reproduction is very complex. Male spermaceum, female carpogonium, and plants are mostly marine. So this is the subclass Floridae. It shows the first order Nemea leonels. Here you are observing the Batrachospermum. Already we are knowing Batrachospermum. So it is the bluish or violet green, then multicellular branched, soft. The main axis shows into nodes and internodes formation. It develops 2 types of branches: branches of unlimited growth and the branches of limited growth. Sexual reproduction oogamous, asexual reproduction by monospores. Then Jellydials. Jellydials example, good example is the Jellydium. You see how is the form is there, and there about the characteristics. So it is famous for providing the best source of agar-agar in the world. Then thallus have a single apical cell at each branch apex. Carpogonial filaments is the unicellular, and this single cell constitutes the carpogonium. Tetrasporangia are usually crucinate, that is a cup shape. The good example is our Dudrenaia or the like the Dictyota in Pyophyceae. So as it is showing the auxiliary cell born in special filament of the gametophyte. The thallus is monoaxial and with the derivatives. The each cutting of 4 lateral cells that are initials of the branched lateral filamentous whose cells contain the chromatophores. So this is the part mainly. Here the these type of genera are there. Then gigartinels. So thallus has the more or less disciplum holdfast, then gametophytes heterothallic, and thus it is formed freely. Then nextly about the rhodymenials. It is the genus. So gastroclonium. It is the one part, and the plant shows multi-axial construction. Thallus is generally cylindrical, flattened, hollow, and the plants are diplobiotic with a definite procarp. An auxiliary cell is special of a procarp and which develop into the fertilization. And last one order is there, cereamials. So it is the good example is the Polycyphonia. It is very nice example, Polycyphonia. You see, it is showing the multicellular structure, and so it is very nicely differentiated from all other algae. Secondly, the thallus is uniaxial plant body filamentous pseudoparenchymatous type structure, reticulate, and therefore it is called as the polysiphon. Poly means many, siphon means cavity-like structure. So it looks like a pseudoparenchymatous. The haploid tetraspores form the gametophytes, and two types of branches, normal and the trichoblast, are there. The cystocarp has the covering called as the pericarp, right? So you remember this diagram. So all about we have seen about the 6 orders are there. In classification of red algae, already we have seen the Floridophyceae, example Gracilaria, then filamentous structures. So again we are repeating these structures. Then you see the other genera Agardirella, cereamials are there. Then Gracilaria and the choline algae are there. So coloration is the very characteristics. Then in red algae, the classification of red algae, Bangidophyceae, they shows the example Porphyra. You see the nature of Porphyra already. They shows diffuse growth and the filamentous. Then there is the red algae. Some members like the tetrasporophyte, they are produced. Then reproduction in the algae, already we are knowing. There are the male gametes called spermatia, female is called as the carpogonia. The life cycle of Gracilaria, just for our study. So haploid gametophytes, male and female are different. Fertilization, it gives to the develop the carposporophyte. This carposporophyte again develop the carpospore. This carpospore germinate, and again the there is the development of the tetrasporophyte develop. This tetrasporophyte, it goes under, it is diploid, it goes under meiotic division and again develop the haploid spores. So like this one, Gracilaria life cycle is there. Then secondly, in reproduction of algae, carposporophyte releases spores called carpospores, and they develop into new tetrasporophyte. In economic importance, significance, the primary producers, mainly the marine forms, are there. So coral reefs is the one economic benefit, and secondly there are the importance of red algae. They are mostly harvested from the ocean, and it is a major source. In red algae, agar or a gel forming substance, which is a polymer made up of subunits of the galactose, is often extracted from the red algae and used as an ingredient in many Asian desserts, helping grow in the microbiological cultures are there, thicker for the preparation of soup, and the ice creams are there, oftenly used and grown in Asia due to climate conditions. As nowadays there is a mass cultivation is there. So here cell wall is two layered, outer consists of pectic substances, then pit connections are there in the two cells. Protoplasm is showing the in Bengials, it is with one vacuole is there. Floridae group, it is most important. The nucleus in rhodophyceae, it is are uninucleate. Good examples Kryptonia males and Bengials, right? So to do this, then specifically chromatophores and pigments in the rhodophyceae, as in Bengials are there. So stellate, that is star-shaped chromatophores. Then each chromatophore there is centrally placed and naked without starch sheath. Pyranid is present. Then the pigments in the red algae are phycoerythrin, which are red water soluble pigments, are phycocyanin, blue water soluble pigments. Then chlorophyll A, B in traces only. Xanthophyls and carotenoids, they are seen. Then reserve food material. Then in phylogenetic relationship, the rhodophyta mainly due to pigment, reserve food, and other characteristics. So they are to be related with the other members except the cyanophyta, which also lack the flagella and possess the phycobilin content. Then according to Kailin in 1943, so affinity of rhodophyta is with cyanophyta in spite of these points similarity. Here you are knowing about the presence of nucleus is having the definite plastid, and therefore the chlorophyll D in addition to chlorophyll A usually shows the more complex structure. So as again in the rhodophyta, Benzoidae are the less highly modified than the Floridae, and some of the genera of Benzoidae which have the cyanophycean cell structure and lack the sexual process, and therefore it is very suggestive for being closely allied to the cyanophyta. So this is all about our rhodophyta. I think today here we are completing the rhodophyta. So thanks to all, have a nice day.